A monumental shift within the British monarchy has seen Andrew Mountbatten Windsor divested of his royal titles and removed from his lavish residence. This unprecedented move by King Charles represents a calculated response to the escalating public outcry surrounding Andrew's connections to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. The strategic implications for the royal family are profound, as they navigate a scandal threatening to redefine the institution's public perception. The king's actions, while impactful, appear to be a reactive measure against the tide of public opinion that, according to prominent biographer Andrew Loney, is way ahead of the papacy. This suggests a critical disconnect between institutional response and societal expectations, potentially fueling further demands for accountability. The public's clamor for Andrew to be investigated, charged, and even detained reflects a broader societal shift toward zero tolerance for perceived abuses of power, particularly when linked to vulnerable individuals. This trend underscores a growing demand for transparency and justice, even for those at the highest echelons of society. Central to Andrew's downfall are his own words, particularly those found in leaked emails that expose his role in the Epstein sex scandal. These communications reveal a calculated effort to discredit Virginia Giuffre, who bravely alleged she was sex trafficked to Andrew at the age of 17. The strategic timing of these leaks, especially one sent the day after Giuffre's photograph with Andrew was published, points to a deliberate campaign to undermine her credibility. This tactic, common among powerful individuals seeking to silence accusers, highlights the systemic challenges faced by victims in their pursuit of justice. The public's exposure to such machinations only intensifies the call for legal repercussions. Virginia Giuffre's harrowing accounts, detailed in her posthumously released memoir and shared in a 2019 interview, paint a disturbing picture of exploitation. Her claims of being trafficked to Andrew 3 times, including an occasion with Epstein and 8 other young girls, underscore the gravity of the allegations. The description of these girls as the confluence of victims' tender ages ranging from 16 to 20, and their English language proficiency, underscores their acute vulnerability and the calculated predatory tactics employed in the selling alleged activities. These disclosures not only reinforce public conviction regarding Andrew's involvement but also provoke profound inquiries into the extensive network implicated in Epstein's illicit enterprise. Andrew's repeated denials, most notably in his 2019 BBC Newsnight interview, have been systematically dismantled by emerging evidence. His claim of having no recollection of meeting Giuffre was directly contradicted by the now infamous photograph. Furthermore, his assertion that he ended his friendship with Epstein in 2010, following a heart-to-heart in Central Park, has been exposed as a lie by leaked emails showing continued contact until at least March the following year. The most damning of these emails, sent after Giuffre's photograph was published, sees Andrew offering Epstein chummy support, stating, "It would seem we are in this together, and we'll have to rise above it." This stark contrast between public statements and private communications has profoundly impacted public trust, leaving little room for doubt regarding his deceptive conduct. The strategic implications of these revelations extend beyond Andrew himself, casting a shadow over the entire royal institution. The decision by King Charles to strip his brother of titles and honors, while a necessary step to mitigate further damage, also serves as a tacit acknowledgement of the severity of the allegations. The his move is a calculated effort to protect the monarchy's image amidst an era of heightened scrutiny and declining deference to traditional institutions. However, the public's demand for further action, including criminal investigation, indicates that this may only be the initial phase of a prolonged crisis for the royal family. Adding another layer of complexity to the scandal are claims of Andrew's financial impropriety. Andrew Loney's unauthorized biography alleges that Andrew abused his position as special representative for trade and investment between 2001 and 2011, leveraging his royal status to benefit business associates and himself. This alleged financial corruption suggests a pattern of behavior driven by a hunger for cash, further eroding public confidence in his character. The intertwining of alleged sexual misconduct with financial malfeasance presents a multifaceted challenge for authorities, potentially leading to a broader investigation into his past dealings. The involvement of Sarah Ferguson, Andrew's ex-wife, in the Epstein network further complicates the narrative. Her simpering emails to Epstein, seeking a loan and pledging loyalty, expose a deep financial entanglement and a continued seemingly shameless contact with the convicted sex offender, long after they claimed to have severed ties. He alleged a debt of £2 million highlights the financial desperation that may have driven their association, offering a potential motive for their continued contact. This aspect of the scandal broadens the scope of potential wrongdoing, suggesting a wider circle of individuals who benefited from or were complicit in Epstein's activities. The strategic release of leaked emails, particularly those implicating Andrew, has been attributed to Ghislaine Maxwell by Andrew Loney. This theory suggests a calculated move by Maxwell to secure a pardon or a more favorable living situation, even if it means bringing Andrew down. The potential motivation to protect Donald Trump by discrediting Andrew introduces a complex geopolitical dimension to the scandal, implying a broader network of powerful individuals whose interests are intertwined. This strategic maneuver by Maxwell, if true, underscores the high stakes involved and the lengths to which individuals within this network are willing to go for self-preservation. The legal ramifications of Andrew's alleged actions are substantial. Guy Davies, former head of Scotland Yard's Royal Protection Command, asserts that the attempt to smear Virginia Giuffre's credibility by asking a personal protection officer to unlawfully obtain information could constitute serious criminality under the Data Protection Act and malfeasance in public conduct. The public's demand for the Metropolitan Police to pursue these allegations, coupled with the overwhelming clamor for clarification, leaves authorities with no option but to investigate. The prospect of Andrew facing criminal charges and potentially jail time if found guilty represents a significant turning point in this saga, signaling that even those with royal connections are not above the law. The ongoing public outrage and the relentless pursuit of justice for Virginia Giuffre have created an environment where Andrew's future appears increasingly bleak. The suggestion that he may need to flee the country to a location without an extradition treaty, such as the Middle East or Thailand, highlights the severity of his predicament. These locations, traditionally known for offering sanctuary to powerful individuals seeking to evade legal scrutiny, represent a potential escape route for a man whose life of entitlement has seemingly reached its end. The public's unwavering demand for accountability, however, suggests that even in exile, Andrew may not find true peace from the consequences of his alleged actions. The posthumous impact of Virginia Giuffre's truth-telling is immense. Her brother, Sky Roberts, and sister-in-law, Amanda, view Andrew's humiliation as an affirmation of her truth. though they emphasize that true justice would involve him being behind bars. This sentiment reflects a broader societal yearning for restorative justice where victims' voices are not only heard but also lead to tangible consequences for their abusers. Jeffrey's memoir, detailing not only her encounters with Andrew but also her harrowing experiences with other powerful and violent men, including her own father, underscores the pervasive nature of abuse and the courage required to confront it. Her legacy, as described by her family, is one of breaking the system and making a huge dent in the world, inspiring a new wave of activism and accountability. The persistent release of shocking emails and the extensive unsealing of thousands and thousands of pages from the Epstein files indicate an unfolding scandal of as yet undetermined magnitude. Strategically maintaining Andrew's precarious position in the public eye and thwarting any discreet disengagement efforts by official institutions themselves. The tsunami of coverage driven by these leaks indicates a sustained media interest, ensuring that public pressure for justice will not wane. This is only the beginning of the end for Andrew, and potentially for others entangled in this complex web of deceit and exploitation, marking a pivotal moment in the ongoing battle for accountability against powerful figures. The strategic economic analysis of this unfolding drama reveals significant implications for the British monarchy's brand equity. The removal of Andrew's titles and his eviction are not merely punitive measures, they are a calculated effort to perform damage control. The royal family, as a global brand, relies heavily on public perception and trust. This scandal, with its ties to egregious moral failings, poses a direct threat to that intangible asset. The market's reaction, while not immediately quantifiable in traditional financial terms, can be observed in the erosion of public goodwill. This erosion could potentially impact tourism, merchandise sales, and even the broader economic contributions associated with the monarchy's soft power. Future predictions suggest a sustained period of volatility for the royal brand. The tsunami of coverage and the continuous drip feed of shocking emails mean that the narrative is far from settled. This prolonged exposure to negative publicity will necessitate a robust and transparent strategy from the palace. Failure to proactively address public demands for accountability could lead to a further decline in public support. This could in turn impact the monarchy's long-term viability and its perceived value to the British state. The institution must adapt to a new era where public opinion, fueled by social media and investigative journalism, holds unprecedented sway. The economic fallout extends to the perceived value of royal associations. For years, association with the royal family has been a lucrative endeavor for businesses and individuals. However, the current scandal risks devaluing this association. Companies and charities may become more cautious about aligning themselves with an institution grappling with such severe allegations. This shift could lead to a re-evaluation of endorsement deals, patronage, and other forms of royal-linked economic activity. The financial corruption allegations against Andrew further compound this issue, suggesting a broader pattern of leveraging royal status for personal gain, which could deter future collaborations. From a strategic perspective, the palace's response, while seemingly reactive, also contains elements of long-term brand protection. By decisively stripping Andrew of his privileges, King Charles is attempting to draw a clear line between the institution and the individual's alleged transgressions. This move aims to isolate the scandal preventing it from metastasizing and infecting the entire royal brand. However, the public's demand for criminal investigation indicates that this strategy may not be sufficient. The market, in this case the court of public opinion, demands more than just symbolic gestures, it demands tangible justice. The trend towards zero tolerance for perceived abuses of power has significant implications for how institutions, including monarchies, manage their public image and mitigate crises. In an increasingly interconnected world, information travels rapidly, and public sentiment can shift dramatically. This demands a proactive and transparent approach to crisis management. The critical disconnect between institutional response and societal expectations highlighted by Andrew Loney underscores a fundamental challenge. Institutions must not only respond but also anticipate and align their actions with evolving societal values to maintain their relevance and legitimacy. The economic impact of Virginia Giuffre's truth-telling is immeasurable. Her courage in coming forward has not only exposed alleged wrongdoing, but has also contributed to a broader movement demanding accountability from powerful individuals. This shift in societal values has tangible economic consequences. Institutions are increasingly pressured to adopt ethical practices and transparent governance. The affirmation of her truth, even without Andrew being behind bars, has empowered other victims and fostered an environment where silence is no longer an option. This cultural shift, while not directly measurable in quarterly kinds reports, represents a profound change in the market for justice and accountability. The continuous unsealing of thousands and thousands of pages Epstein files represents an ongoing data-driven challenge for the royal family. Each new revelation acts as a market shock, demanding a fresh response and further testing the resilience of the monarchy's brand. This sustained net media scrutiny ensures that the issue remains a top of mind concern for the public, preventing any attempt to quietly move on. The tsunami of coverage can be viewed as a relentless audit of the institution's integrity, with each leak serving as a new data point for public analysis. The strategic implications of Ghislaine Maxwell's alleged role in leaking emails potentially to secure a pardon or a more favorable living situation introduce a complex layer of game theory. If Maxwell is indeed bringing Andrew down to protect other powerful individuals, it suggests a calculated move within a network of mutual interests and vulnerabilities. This dynamic highlights the high stakes involved and the strategic maneuvering employed by individuals seeking self-preservation. The potential geopolitical dimension, with implications for figures like Donald Trump, further underscores the intricate web of power and influence at play. The legal ramifications, particularly the prospect of Andrew facing criminal charges, present a significant turning point. From an economic perspective, such a development would the legal ramifications, particularly the prospect of Andrew facing criminal charges, represent a significant turning point. From an economic perspective, such a development would solidify the perception that no individual, regardless of status, is above the law, potentially restoring a degree of public trust in the justice system. This restoration of trust, while intangible, holds considerable long-term value for societal stability and economic confidence. The market, in this context, demands equitable application of justice. The suggestion that Andrew may need to flee the country to evade legal scrutiny highlights a potential flight of capital and influence. While the immediate economic impact of an individual's departure might seem negligible, it symbolizes a broader trend where powerful figures attempt to circumvent legal accountability. This could have subtle yet significant implications for international relations and the perception of legal integrity in various jurisdictions. The pursuit of justice even across borders reinforces the global commitment to upholding legal standards. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous impact, as an affirmation of truth, has catalyzed a powerful social movement with tangible economic consequences. The increased demand for corporate social responsibility and ethical governance stems in part from such public awakenings. Businesses and institutions are now more acutely aware of the financial and reputational risks associated with perceived moral failings. This shift drives investment toward ethical practices, creating a new market for integrity and transparency. The continuous unsealing of Epstein files, a tsunami of coverage, acts as a constant market correction for the royal brand. Each new revelation forces a reevaluation of the institution's perceived value and its ability to adapt to modern societal expectations. This ongoing scrutiny, driven by public demand for accountability, prevents any artificial inflation of the monarchy's image. It ensures that the brand's equity is continually tested against the harsh realities of public opinion and ethical standards. The strategic economic analysis further reveals that the monarchy, as an institution, operates within a complex ecosystem of public funding, charitable endeavors, and commercial partnerships. The erosion of public trust, fueled by scandals such as Andrew's, directly threatens this ecosystem. A decline in public support could lead to reduced governmental allocations, diminished charitable donations, and a reluctance from commercial entities to associate with the royal brand. This creates a ripple effect, impacting various sectors that indirectly benefit from the monarchy's presence. Future predictions indicate that the monarchy's long-term sustainability hinges on its ability to demonstrate genuine reform and unwavering commitment to ethical conduct. The public is no longer content with superficial gestures, it demands substantive change. This necessitates a strategic pivot towards greater transparency, accountability, and a clear dissociation from any individuals or activities that tarnish its image. The market, represented by public sentiment, will continue to exert pressure until these demands are met. The economic fallout from Andrew's alleged financial corruption extends beyond mere personal enrichment. It raises fundamental questions about the integrity of royal appointments and the potential for abuse of power within official capacities. This perception of impropriety can deter foreign investment and damage the UK's reputation as a trustworthy business partner. The strategic imperative is to ensure that all official roles are conducted with the utmost integrity, safeguarding the nation's economic interests and international standing. From a strategic communications perspective, the palace faces an unprecedented challenge in managing the narrative surrounding Andrew. The continuous leaks and the public's insatiable demand for information mean that traditional methods of damage control are largely ineffective. Proactive, transparent, and empathetic communication strategy is essential to rebuild trust and demonstrate a genuine commitment to addressing the underlying issues. Failure to do so risks alienating a significant portion of the public, further eroding the monarchy's social license. The trend toward zero tolerance for abuses of power is not merely a social phenomenon, it is an economic force. Consumers, investors, and employees are increasingly aligning themselves with organizations that demonstrate strong ethical values, institutions that fail to meet these evolving standards, risk boycotts, divestment, and a loss of talent. The monarchy, as a prominent public institution, is subject to these same market forces, highlighting the need for a fundamental reevaluation of its operational principles. The economic impact of Virginia Giuffre's bravery extends to the following: burgeoning industry of victim advocacy and legal support. Her case has shown a spotlight on the systemic challenges faced by survivors of sexual abuse, driving increased funding and resources towards organizations dedicated to their support. This creates a new market for specialized legal services, counseling, and advocacy, reflecting a societal commitment to addressing historical injustices and protecting vulnerable populations. The continuous unsealing of Epstein files, a veritable data dump, provides invaluable insights into the inner workings of a predatory network. This data, once analyzed, can inform policy changes, strengthen legal frameworks, and enhance protective measures for potential victims. From an intelligence perspective, it offers a strategic advantage in identifying and dismantling similar networks, thereby safeguarding future generations and promoting a more just society. The strategic implications of Ghislaine Maxwell's alleged actions, if aimed at protecting Donald Trump, underscore the interconnectedness of global power structures. This introduces a complex geopolitical risk factor, where the actions of individuals can have far-reaching consequences for international relations and political stability. The market, in this context, is not just economic but also political, with every strategic move carrying the potential for significant ripple effects across various domains. The legal ramifications, particularly the prospect of Andrew facing criminal charges and potential jail time, would send a clear message that accountability is paramount. This would reinforce the rule of law, a cornerstone of a stable and predictable economic environment. Investors and businesses thrive in jurisdictions where legal frameworks are robust and equitably applied. The pursuit of justice, even against powerful figures, strengthens this foundational principle. The suggestion that Andrew may need to flee the country highlights the ultimate consequence of evading justice: exile and ostracization. This personal cost, while not directly economic, has profound implications for an individual accustomed to a life of privilege and public prominence. It serves as a stark warning to others who might consider leveraging their positions for illicit gain, reinforcing the long-term strategic importance of ethical conduct. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous legacy, as a catalyst for change, has created a powerful precedent for truth-telling and accountability. Her story has inspired countless others to come forward, creating a collective force that is reshaping societal norms and expectations. This cultural shift has tangible economic benefits, as it fosters a more transparent and just society, ultimately leading to greater trust and stability, which are essential for sustained economic growth. The continuous unsealing of Epstein files ensures that the public remains actively engaged in the pursuit of justice. This sustained public pressure acts as a powerful deterrent against any attempts to suppress information or impede investigations. It demonstrates the power of collective action in holding powerful institutions and individuals accountable, a vital component of a healthy democracy and a transparent market economy. The strategic economic analysis also considers the opportunity cost of the ongoing scandal. Resources, both financial and human, that could be directed towards positive initiatives are, instead, consumed by crisis management and damage control. This diversion of resources represents a significant drag on the monarchy's potential to contribute to national development and charitable causes. A swift and decisive resolution would free up these resources for more productive endeavors. Future predictions suggest that the monarchy must embrace a more modern and meritocratic approach to its roles and responsibilities. The era of inherited privilege without commensurate accountability is rapidly drawing to a close. To maintain its relevance and public support, the institution must demonstrate its value through tangible contributions to society, rather than relying solely on tradition. This necessitates a strategic reevaluation of its mission and operational model. The economic fallout from the alleged financial corruption also impacts the perception of the UK as a safe haven for ethical business practices. Allegations of royal involvement in illicit financial dealings can tarnish the nation's reputation, potentially deterring foreign direct investment and impacting its standing in global financial markets. Upholding the highest standards of financial integrity is therefore a strategic imperative for the nation's economic well-being. From a strategic perspective, the palace's initial reactive response to the scandal has evolved into a more deliberate, albeit still challenging, attempt at brand rehabilitation. The stripping of titles and eviction are clear signals that the institution is willing to make difficult decisions to protect its core values. However, the true test lies in its ability to proactively address the systemic issues that allowed such a scandal to fester, demonstrating a genuine commitment to reform. The trend toward zero tolerance for perceived abuses of power has fundamentally altered the risk landscape for all public figures and institutions. The digital age ensures that information, both true and false, spreads rapidly, making reputation management a constant and complex challenge. Proactive risk assessment, robust ethical frameworks, and transparent communication are no longer optional but essential for survival in this new environment. The economic impact of Virginia Jeffrey's truth-telling also extends to the market for ethical leadership. Her story has underscored the importance of integrity, empathy, and accountability in positions of power. This has created a and for leaders who embody these values, influencing hiring practices, corporate governance, and public sector appointments. The market is increasingly valuing ethical leadership as a key driver of long-term success and sustainability. The continuous unsealing of Epstein files acts as a powerful disruptor, preventing any return to complacency. Each new document forces a re-examination of past events and relationships, ensuring that the pursuit of truth remains relentless. This sustained pressure keeps the scandal firmly in the public eye, preventing any attempts to bury or diminish its significance. It is a testament to the enduring power of transparency in holding power accountable. The strategic implications of Ghislaine Maxwell's alleged role in leaking emails, if confirmed, highlight the complex interplay of personal vendettas, legal strategies, and political maneuvering. This intricate web of motivations underscores the high stakes involved, and the lengths to which individuals will go to protect their interests. It also suggests that the full story of the Epstein network is far from being fully uncovered, with many more revelations potentially on the horizon. The legal ramifications, particularly the prospect of Andrew facing criminal charges, would have a profound impact on the future of the monarchy. It would demonstrate that even the highest echelons of society are not immune to the consequences of their actions, reinforcing the principle of equality before the law. This would be a significant step towards rebuilding public trust and modernizing the institution in line with contemporary societal values. The suggestion that Andrew may need to flee the country underscores the profound personal and public consequences of his alleged actions. It paints a picture of a life in turmoil, stripped of privilege and prestige, force, and to seek refuge in jurisdictions known for their lax extradition laws. This serves as a powerful narrative about the fragility of power and the inevitability of accountability, even for those who once seemed untouchable. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous impact as a beacon of truth has illuminated the dark corners of power and privilege, inspiring a global movement for justice. Her courage has not only brought down powerful figures, but has also empowered countless victims to find their voice. This collective awakening has profound societal and economic implications, fostering a culture of accountability and demanding greater protection for vulnerable individuals. The continuous unsealing of Epstein files ensures that the public's demand for justice remains unyielding. This ongoing flow of information acts as a constant reminder gravity of the allegations and the need for thorough investigation. It prevents the scandal from fading into obscurity, maintaining public pressure on authorities to pursue all avenues of inquiry and ensure that justice is served. The strategic economic analysis further highlights the need for the monarchy to diversify its appeal and demonstrate its relevance in a rapidly changing world. Relying solely on tradition and historical legacy may no longer be sufficient to secure public support and economic viability. The institution must actively engage with contemporary issues, demonstrate its commitment to social justice, and prove its value as a force for good in society. Future predictions suggest that the monarchy's ability to navigate this crisis will serve as a crucial test of its resilience and adaptability. The institution must demonstrate a willingness to evolve, to learn from its mistakes and to embrace a more transparent and accountable future. Failure to do so risks a further erosion of public support and a decline in its long-term viability, both as a cultural symbol and an economic entity. The economic fallout from the alleged financial corruption also raises questions about the oversight mechanisms within the royal household. A thorough review of these mechanisms is essential to prevent future abuses of power and to restore public confidence in the integrity of royal operations. This would involve implementing stricter financial controls, enhancing transparency, and ensuring robust accountability for all individuals associated with the monarchy. From a strategic communications perspective, the palace must move beyond reactive damage control and adopt a proactive strategy of engagement and transparency. This involves openly addressing public concerns, providing regular updates on investigations, and demonstrating a genuine commitment to supporting victims of abuse. A failure to communicate effectively risks exacerbating public distrust and further damaging the monarchy's already fragile reputation. The trend toward zero tolerance for perceived abuses of power has created a new landscape of public scrutiny, where every action and inaction is subject to intense examination. This demands a heightened level of ethical awareness and accountability from all public figures and institutions. The monarchy, as a symbol of national identity, is particularly vulnerable to this scrutiny and must adapt its practices to meet these evolving societal expectations. The economic impact of Virginia Giuffre's truth-telling extends to the broader movement for women's rights and gender equality. Her courage